Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Monster Hunter World video. Last week I kicked off my very first weapon top 5 with my top 5 charge plays, and you guys said you really wanted to see more, so this week I'm putting together my top 5 bows. I actually made this episode in conjunction with TwoSixNine since he is a bow main, so together we put together a list of our personal top 5 options. Now as I said in the last episode, this is still a somewhat subjective topic. The top 5 in this video aren't the only 5, and you should never be afraid to make a weapon just because you like the look of it, or you like an element that it carries. After all, every weapon is viable, and while some weapons may offer slightly more optimal damage output in select situations, there's more to Monster Hunter than just how much damage you can do. Also, with regards to the bows, it's a little more open to interpretation since it'll vary heavily depending on the way that you are playing, whether your focus is more on status and CC or whether it's just on big damage, but either way, if you're looking for some bow recommendations, then this should help you on that front. Of course, if you do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated, and like last time, be sure to comment down below and let me know if you guys have any other personal favourite bows that didn't appear in this list. Now, kicking things off at number 5, we have the Great Hunter's Bow, right down here at the bottom of the list. This bow comes from the arena. You have to complete arena quests to get arena coins, and you use those to forge this bow. The raw attack on this is pretty good. It's not the highest among the bows, but it's definitely up there near the top, and it comes with 150 blast, a plus 20 defense boost, and a nice level 3 decoration slot. There are a couple of other blast offerings in the bow list, but both of those require awakening. This also supports almost every single type of coating. However, the reason this is at number 5 is because the one coating it doesn't support is power coating, and since power coating is pretty important, it's the main reason we didn't put it higher up the list. However, that being said, I mentioned that there are multiple playstyles for the bow, and as a utility offering, this is excellent. If you're playing more for status and CC, then the ability to use all other coatings without having to slot in decorations makes this a very nice choice. Pair that with the added blast element, and you do have a pretty nice recipe here. Moving on from there to number 4, we then have the final form Nergigante bow, Doomshaft. To be honest, the Nergigante offerings for most weapons are generally speaking a safe bet to make. They offer good power, dragon element, and elder seal, so if you're ever unsure what weapon to make, then you can't go wrong down this path. This one has the second highest raw attack value for the bow, only beaten by the Diablos offering. It's got a nice amount of dragon element on it, 0% affinity, a level 1 slot, and high elder seal rating, making it a good option to take into fights against elder dragons. The main reason it's not higher up the list, however, is because this one is pretty limited on the coating front by default, offering just power coating and close range. Now, if damage is your playstyle, that's not really an issue. Power coatings are what you want, but if you want this bow to be a little bit more flexible, then it's going to require some supporting decorations to be able to work some other coatings into the mix. So in short, it's a great bow, especially for the attack focused setups, and also something that is great when going toe to toe with elders. Just keep in mind that it will require a little bit of work to turn it into a multi-purpose offering. Which then brings us nicely on to number 3, the Nimatura, the bow from the final boss. This is an excellent multi-purpose utility bow. It can sit nicely in both damage and status focused setups. By default, it has a raw attack rating of 204, 15% affinity, 180 dragon damage, a low elder seal rating, and 2 level 3 decoration slots. In addition to that, it supports close range, power, poison, and blast coatings, and given that you have 2 decoration slots, you can also slot in power coat and sleep coat decorations to allow you to use those coatings too, in turn allowing this bow to use every single coating, which I'm sure you'll all agree is pretty handy. And then next up, in at number 2, you have the Diablos offering, the Syrah Coilbender. As is to be expected of the Diablos offerings, it has the highest raw attack value in the list at the cost of negative 30% affinity. It does have Ice Element, but you'll need the Awaken skill if you want to activate that, plus it has a couple of level 1 slots to play with and a bonus 15 defense. Provided you can stack some affinity focused armor skills to negate the negative affinity, then this is your highest raw damage bow. It supports power and close range coatings, plus it also supports paralysis, which is pretty handy since you can take advantage of that to CC the monster and then lean into the higher raw damage offered by the weapon for some good damage output. Definitely a solid weapon choice, provided you have a setup to support it. Then finally, in at number 1, we have the Haziq Velos 2, the final form Haziq bow. This has 228 raw, 0% affinity, extremely high dragon attack at 270, an average elder seal rating, a level 2 decoration slot, and it supports close range, power, and sleep coatings by default. This is the bow we use the most when hunting elder dragons. While the elder seal is not as high as that of the Nergigante, the dragon damage makes for some great damage potential. And pair that with the fact that you have sleep in the mix, then this is great in a team focused setup, provided your team know not to wake up the monster the second it falls asleep. You can also use this to line up some great damage openings, and then lean back into the power coatings and dragon damage to truly burn down the Elder Dragons. It also has 2 augmentation slots, so there's a good degree of customization options if you want to improve this bow, but since a larger portion of our playtime right now is spent hunting Elder Dragons, then this is definitely the one we find ourselves using the most. So, there you have it. Those are our personal top 5 bows. However, much like last time, I want to give a couple of quick honorable mentions. The first one goes to the Legiana bow. I really like the way Legiana weapons look, plus this has very high ice damage and a good range of supported coatings, so if you're fighting something that's weak to ice, this is definitely a nice option. And the other honorable mention goes to the Tobi Kadachi bow with 15% affinity, high thunder, and also more effective paralysis coating, making this an excellent bow to use if you want to put a strong focus on a paralysis CC playstyle. But for the time being, that's it. Those are our top 5 bows. Again, if you have any other personal favourites we didn't mention, by all means let us know down below. But thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.